close that button, it's a little too racy. Hi guys, I'm looking at the chat. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. All right, so I have the G90 set up here on my magnetic loop outside, and I'm tuned on 40 meters, around 7150. Oh, sound. Hi guys. All right, so let's see who's here. All right, we have Don's 45 Auto. Welcome back. Stuart Hall, Stu Pot. That's funny. And 14 people. Well, I hope there'll be a little bit more. Usually we turn we're about 50 for a live stream, but I don't really advertise it, so it's always kind of a last time decision, so to speak. But this time I kind of announced it a little bit, but I don't want to make too much of a fuss with it, you know. Con Wilson, thank you very much. I'm going to put the sound back on the G90 here. I tried on 20 meters first, but there wasn't anybody, not much traffic on 20, and propagation maybe wasn't that good, so I went down to 40, and 40 should work just fine. It always works just fine, most of the time anyway. 40 meters is the king of prepping bands, really. It allows you to cover any distances, basically, from local communications to regional to long range. J. Rickham, I'm not sure. KB10, Connecticut. Cool. All right, so I can hear some stations here. I can't go very far from 7150 because the magnetic loop is a very narrow banded antenna. And in a way, that's a good thing for some things, and in another way, well, it's kind of a bummer to have to go outside to tune it. Of course, it was suggested to me to make a a motor, put a motor on it and a controller. Well, it's yeah, maybe someday I might do it. I might do it. We have DK50NV. Did I buy myself a new radio? Well, the G90 I got, I don't know, it was a couple of months ago maybe? Something like that, not sure. It's fairly new, and I'm pretty happy about it. It's a little bit, it's not big. I mean, it's a little long, not that much, but it's not that big. It's a little heavy for portable operations, but it's kind of in between. It's in between a base station basically and a portable radio, so it's kind of a transportable radio, meaning that you're probably not going to want to carry it in a backpack if you're carrying anything else, but you could very well carry it, of course, in a vehicle, or if you for base camp situation kind of thing, that would be a great radio to have because it has 20 watts and all bands. All HF bands and 20 watts, that's pretty darn good. And you don't need more than that. Nobody needs more than 20 watts, I wouldn't think. I mean, so for that, it's a good radio. It does digital modes, CW pretty well. So yeah, I think it's a good choice, and the price is right. It's not expensive. Now, reliability long term, I suppose it's not an ICOM or a Yaesu or a Kenwood, but people, give good reports about it, so why not? All right, so we have Jirki McKinnon. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but tell us where you're from. All right, so let's see. we have M0PCF, Paul. Thank you. Oh, I heard some noise outside. And 20 people now, very nice. So today we're going to chat a little bit about everything, radio, of course, and I guess we could drift a little bit away from radio and more into prepping. Of course, this is a radio prepping channel, so we can talk a bit about prepping, maybe about the current events, but without being political. I'm very political on Facebook, but on my personal account, I'm not political on radio preppers, because radio preppers is for everyone. So, and we all need to communicate, especially in times of crisis. So, and hopefully we won't have one anytime soon, but it's not going well. So, I don't know. You tell me. And we have Con Wilson and for WCC from Kentucky. We have, Finland. Jirki, I'm not sure I say that right. Finland, very nice. Must be cold up there right now. I'd like to go to Finland, but in the summer. But I guess it's all a matter of gear, equipment. If you have the right equipment, you're fine. And that's the problem, is when you're not, you don't have the right gear, and you end up in the cold, and that can be very bad. All right, so the G90, let's turn the volume back on. The thing is that on 40 meters right now, it's probably going to be Europe only, but who knows? I did not a contact, but I was reported by the reverse beacon. And I wasn't, was it the reverse beacon network? Anyway, I was using a Whisper with 20 watts and the G90, and I got reports from Australia and New Zealand, so which is of course, right on the opposite side of the world. Not sure you can hear that very well, but let's check the sound. Okay, it's good enough, I guess. Low power drain, Paul? Yes and no. I don't consider it low power drain. It's like about, 400, 500 milliamps on receive, and that's a lot, because that's usually what I have on transmit. So no, it's not low power drain. Maybe, compared to a 7300 or something, but I don't even know how much those consume, but draw. But it's not a low power draw radio. I don't consider it that way. Low current draw for me, acceptable range for an SSB radio would be 250 milliamps. Wade, could we be long lost twins? Yeah, it could be. Same interest, anyway. I don't know if you look like me, but the twins are not always identical, right? Satnam, think, I'm not sure. VU2COR, very nice. Oh, David Reverend, Sweden. Kiruna, town of Kiruna. Wow, you guys come from the cold, I'll tell you. It's a contest Sunday. Yeah, I noticed that when I heard contest on 20 meters. I was hoping it would be only 20 meters, but yeah, we might not make a lot of contacts today. Maybe none, I don't know. I'm not into contesting, so. To each his own, right? Radio Fraternal Twins, yes. 45 Euro, yes. Warren Alfred, thank you very much. AB6YA. All right, so I can't go too far here. I'm on a 7130, 140. I can't go too far from 7150 because of the magnetic loop antenna. There's many signals, but none of them are really especially strong. So it's a little bit early for 40 meters. But as the live stream continues, we might hear more stations. I mean, clearer, stronger signals. James Long, N9EET. I'm using a magnetic loop antenna that has a 5-meter perimeter. And it works extremely well. Oh, I'm going too far from 7150 here again. I'm going to park somewhere, and you guys can try calling. Okay, I'm on 7151. I'm going to leave it there. That's the problem. The Xigu volume is that once you go too low, it just cuts off. And you can't go any lower than that here. So anyway, that's all right. All right, who else is here? Bill Owens, thank you very much. Retracted his message, I don't know why. Oh, it says happy birthday anyway. You can see it with the latency here. All right, so I can see it anyway. G90 for, okay, Martin Shakeshaft uses the G90 for SOTA. 3 summit to summits, yeah. Oh, from VK stations in the UK, that's really good. Call sign 2E0BIA. What bandwidth before you have to retune? I can probably go from 7130 to 7170, so 40 kilohertz. It's not too bad, but yeah, after that I have to retune. The advantage though of the magnetic loop is that if you're using a radio that has poor filtering, it filters for you, you know. So when I use like little QRPP radios like the Pixie or you know, well, I kind of stopped using that one because it produces harmonics, but like other QRP, like very small radios like that don't have filtering, it helps a great deal to hear signals, you know. All right, Dick Hanzik, thank you very much. SA4DHT. All right, so I'll tell you guys, if you haven't been preparing radio-wise and otherwise, now's the time. Now's the time. I don't want to be pessimistic, but there are a lot of weird things going on in the world, and lots of coincidences that probably aren't, and lots of aggression, and it's not looking good for the future. I hope it resolves itself, but people are starting to wake up to the fact that you know, there's a lot of bad things going on, and hopefully that will be enough to reverse the direction. But now's the time to kind of, if you're using radio, of course, and I assume you are, is to make a what I call an RF map of your area and listen and map the area with people who are transmitting, or you know, services that are transmitting, and put that on paper, not on your computer, on paper, so that you have a list of frequencies and list of people that you know you might be chatting with, that you can reach if you have to, or you can listen to if you have to. And that includes broadcast stations, you know, public services on VHF and UHF, I mean, those that are not encrypted, and all your friends, and probably set up, you know, meetup frequencies with your friends so you can find them. And I don't mean on repeaters. Repeaters won't be functioning after, you know, immediately or a few days after a large event. So I would not count on that. Oh, 45 auto. Oh, it's 70 degrees, 71 degrees here in South Texas. Okay, 71.21, that's the temperature. I thought you were giving your latitude. Going up to 80 degrees in a few months. Yeah, it will be, 1,000. Yeah, but much more. I would say a few dozen thousand Kelvin, but hopefully not. All right, so happy birthday from KEOZD. Oh, and thank you very much to Don's Locks. Hope I say that right. Who gave me a coffee donation? Yeah, thank you. It's my birthday after all, right? So the coffee donation link is here. Always forget to mention it, but actually I don't forget, but I don't think about it until someone does it. All right, so yeah, coffee donation. You can always sign up on Patreon, of course, for a monthly, donation to help the channel. You can do the same thing on the coffee co-fi.com link, and there are cryptocurrency addresses down below that you can use as well. And I got into that in December, and it's very interesting. All right, so awesome. Andrew Murphy, happy birthday. Thank you very much. I have a list for GMRS, VHF, UHF, CB frequency. That's excellent. Guys, there is the Channel 3 initiative. That's I think it came from Tappen. I'm not sure. But basically, all the channels, Channel 3. So Channel 3 on PMR, FRS, CB. I don't know about marine radio, but it's not made for that. But MURS, all the Channel 3s basically are prepping channels. So you can always, if you haven't made your homework, if you haven't done your homework, you can always use Channel 3, whatever it is. But not all bands have used channels. So Merry Christmas from Dennis. Thank you very much. Christmas, no, it's birthday. Did I say Christmas earlier? I don't know. All right, so CB Radio 11 mètres, joyeux anniversaire, merci beaucoup. Poste QRP avec SDR pas cher. Ok, donc je conseillerais soit le G90 qui est là, hein, le Xigu G90, ou en très petite taille le USDX, TR, entre parenthèses TR USDX, qui est une radio qui est vendue. Voyez la page dl2man.com. All right, little parentheses in French here, so you guys can review your high school French a little bit. Mapril Pedro Ferreira, merci beaucoup. All right, so excellent. Yes, I was saying, so make an RF map of your surroundings, and it's time to do that. Also, you have to think about protecting your electronics and your radios, and that includes, radios, of course. That includes anything that you use for computers, flashlights, because flashlights use LEDs now, and LEDs have a PN junction, and of course that would be probably destroyed. It might get destroyed anyway in case of an EMP. And anything else, like you probably should have a pocket calculator, solar powered. Oh, and bacon whiskey, $10 for my birthday. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Yeah, you have the super chat also. I forgot to mention, but I prefer the coffee donation link here. Whoops. Of course, Patreon and the crypto addresses. All right. So 45 Euro high school Spanish not really helpful here. Yeah, I only speak French and English, so. I sometimes I wish I probably should pick up another language now. I mean, I have, I could, why not? Maybe Spanish, I'm not sure. Maybe something exotic, just for the heck of it, Yeah, something, and that's useful. I read a story once about a couple who spoke Indonesian, both of them because they had worked over there and lived over there. And when they wanted to have a private conversation, they spoke Indonesian, right? Imagine you speak Indonesian on the radio, and it's not encrypted, so it's legal. But you can speak if you can speak a exotic, rare language with someone, especially in a couple or a group. Why not? It's a great way to kind of hide your meaning, your messages, and it's not encryption, but it's nobody speaks it around that area. It's pretty much close to it. What are the odds that someone speaks like Indonesian, let's say in the south of France, right? I mean, it's possible. Of course, I'm sure people do, but would they be on the radio? I'm not sure. So hey, speaking a different language is a great way to for radio. It's a great way to add some privacy to your discussions. And I just thought about that. Martin Vanek, 56 is in the distant past. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully someday it will be my distant past too. So, and thank you very much to DL7EDU for helping me and giving a coffee donation here. Thank you very much. It's going to be a good birthday, and I need it, I'll tell you. I've been eating canned food for a week. But hey, it's my fault. I mean, I'm very bad at managing money, and I always spend lots of stuff for the channel, and I'm not really reasonable with savings. Although I've been starting to save because of cryptocurrencies, and that's why I put my money now before I spend it. And that's a way for me to put it somewhere that I can't get to it easily. I know it's bad, but yeah, I guess I don't care about money enough to make more. Otherwise, I could. All right. So, how's the Jeep's oil leak? HRPO Kev. It's not a Jeep. Oh God. The Toyota people are rolling in their graves now. It's a Toyota Land Cruiser, and it's fixed. Yeah, it's fixed. Cost me €1,000. That's why I'm broke. But I'm mobile. I'm mobile and broke. Although I have to be careful because I only have that tank of diesel right now, and it's gonna have to last until the end of the month. But it's February, so it's pretty soon. All right. So if you speak 3 languages, you are trilingual. 2 languages bilingual. 1 language American. I guess most people don't really. I'm not sure if it's really common to speak multi languages. Probably closer to the borders. But the funny thing, in France, people don't like to speak other languages, and they're not good at it. French people have horrendous English pronunciation. Probably it's because of the differences of the language itself. It's probably not their fault, but the funny thing is that in France, for instance, we have borders with Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, and when you cross the border, lots of people across the border, so not the French ones, the other ones, they speak a bit of French. But if you go on the French side, the French don't speak the language that's across a couple of 100 meters from where they live, and I don't know why that is, but well, go figure. I don't know. CW counts as a new language because it's hard. Well, I guess maybe, but it's not CW, it's Morse code, remember. That's one of my pet peeves, people say, oh, I'm learning CW. No, you're not. You're learning Morse code. You can't learn CW the same way that you can't learn to speak LSB or FM. You can't speak FM. You can speak other languages using FM, and it's the same goes for CW. You learn Morse code. You use Morse code on CW. Anyway, I'm drifting here. Basic Greek. Oh, that's cool. Macedonian. Yeah, that's that you could have. If you know other people who do, that would be a fairly private language to use on the radio. Maybe not on HF, but on VHF, UHF certainly. All right, so things to do to get prepared because of what's going on right now. So I mentioned EMP shielding, and of course that means putting your radios in a tin can box. I use cookie tins, which is a problem because I have to eat the cookies, and I don't mind that, but it's not good for my waistline. So Or you can use, I use tea cans also. It's healthier than cookies, but the cookie jars are bigger. So I don't have one for the G90 yet, but I really, well, I have big metal chests, you know, and that's why I put my radios. So they are in a couple metal chests here, and so they are protected. But and by the way, also, yeah, you might want to think about protecting your house also. And actually, I just signed up for an affiliates program with EMP Shield. I'm going to be talking about that very soon. And I'll have well, not big disc. I have, you know, discounts on EMP Shield products pretty soon. So I'm gonna work on that. You are correct, sir. I'll retract my earlier statement. I forgot what that was. Anyway, and we have, oh, Andrew Murphy. Hello there. Thank you very much. Send you a picture of my antenna project. Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Oklahoma, yeah. Well, yeah, guys, it's going to be warming up fairly soon, except for you guys in the southern hemisphere. But here it's going to be a little better. Hopefully, it's really gray, really windy today. I'm gonna have to go check my my boat's mooring. If not tonight, tomorrow morning. If I'm up in the morning. I still have a couple of days of vacation, so I'm off still Monday and Tuesday, and then I start work again. I had a week off, and I'll have another bit of vacation maybe. Well, I think it's going to be beginning of April, so I'll try to make some kind of expedition then, but we'll see about that. I'd like to go back to that one thing that I did, that place I went to, the Batterie de la Viresse, and that's I made a video. It's about it says. Radio camping and four-wheeling or something like that. Just check it out. It's one of my, it's probably one of my best videos. And you have Dmitry Leonov. I hope I say that right. Thank you very much. DK1ELD. Hit the like button. Yeah, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, because that helps a lot. And hitting the like button brings more people to the chat, and it actually helps the you know, to get more subscribers and more viewers. So, and if you want this channel to continue, it has to grow. All right. So Jacques Bourne. Parents 10-gallon galvanized, 5-gallon plastic, perfectly Faraday cage, yeah. Water protection. I guess so. All right, so 33rd channel, good birthday, yeah. Wojciech, I hope I say that right. SP9DLK, thank you very much. Bacon Whiskey, how are you liking the G90? More than I thought I would. The only thing that, well, you know, it's a little heavy, but not too much. And like I said before, like I mentioned, it's probably not something you'd want in a bug-out bag, because it would be too heavy, because of course you need a little, a bigger battery, and the battery is that red thing here, 4 cells here. That's, you know, the battery plus the weight of the radio. It's a little heavy for portable, so I would not use it as a portable radio. I would use the USDX by DL2 MAN for that, and especially a model that is approved by him. You can go to his website, and I would use that in a bug-out bag. But the G90 I would definitely use as a camp radio, or a transportable radio, assuming I have a vehicle to carry it, because if I'm bugging out, and I hope never to have to bug out, even in the most dire of situations, I'll try to stay home. But if I was bugging out, I would definitely have other things to carry, a lot of stuff, and a G90 would be a little bit too heavy for that. But it's great, it works great. The tuner is awesome. The tuner is the wet noodle, the proverbial wet noodle. And that's a great addition to this radio, because you can plug in, let's say, the MPAS system from Chameleon Antennas. or 921 Unun with like say an 8-meter wire, and you're good to go. You can go on practically all bands but the lowest ones. Like 80 and 40 would be too low, but 40 up on an 8-meter wire would work pretty darn well. We have Horst Jäger, thank you very much. Stefan Mathlassen, thank you very much. OZ7 STM. And Horst is OE3 SZE, thank you very much. All right, so I mentioned, what did I mention? I mentioned EMP protection, make an RF map of your area. You need an alternate source of power, and that would be either solar or some kind of hand crank. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to show it to you here. I got a Klansman hand crank, and that produces about 30 volts. I haven't checked the current output power. Basically, that can be inserted between your radio that would come here and the battery that comes below. And actually, I have one of these. It's funny because I can grab radios and stuff all around me, and it's within reach. Okay, so say I had that PRC 351 here, and that's heavy, of course, so I'm going to need both hands here. Okay, PRC 351. So that hand crank would insert in between those two here, and those you can all take those away. You can put an amp also in between here to make it a PRC 352. So that's a VHF radio. Covers 30 to 76 megahertz FM. Great, awesome, super heavy VHF radio. The PRC 350 is much smaller, I'll tell you. It's a PRC 350. And you put a whip antenna and a handset here, and you're good to go. I'm going to have to check the battery here because it doesn't seem to be working anymore, but something else to fix. So so what I'm going to do though with this hand crank, I'm going to put a voltage regulator on it. That's going to take the 30 volts down to 20 volts. And the 20 volts, I'm going to plug that in an MPPT charger, solar charger, so that I can charge not only the Klansman radios that I have, the Klansman batteries, but yeah, it's military guns. It's Klansman, it's British. And you can get one of those for probably, I don't know, $70, something like that. And it's ultra rugged, it's ultra heavy also, of course. And you just crank it like this. Of course, to charge a Klansman battery, it's going to take all day. Or just have your wife or girlfriend do it, right? That's what she's there for. I'm just kidding, guys. I didn't say that. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. All right, so I'm going to use a voltage converter and a MPPT solar charger so that I can charge other radios, other batteries, basically. And I have the voltage converter somewhere. I just have to put it in a box and put connectors and stuff. Yeah, so 20 volts basically use an MPPT charger, and because you always have variations of speed when you're turning that thing, and you can get tired, slow down, you get, you just speed up, and so basically the MPPT charger is going to be more efficient at converting that fluctuating voltage down to I don't know, 12 or 8 volts, something like that. So basically, I would highly suggest that you have solar power. So actually I got one. It's over there. Well, you can't really see it, but I got a solar panel, a Raddy, R-A-D-D-Y solar panel from Radiodity. I highly suggest that you go check it out on the Radiodity website. It's 200 watts, and I'm going to be reviewing it fairly soon. If Radiodity is listening, yes, very soon, I swear. I'm a bit procrastinator, guys, and you know it, but I have to get motivated. Once I'm motivated, I'm unstoppable. But it's just the starting that eludes me sometimes. All right, so tell her it's like stirring food in a pot. Yeah. It's good habits. Jeez. That's guys. I don't know, but I'm single, so don't do what I say. I'm not. I'm not one to be good at giving relationship advice. Actually, probably I am because I failed a few, and partially my fault also. So I'm not. I'm not a big. Although I'm a big communicator on radio, when it comes to personal things, I don't communicate much. So that always has been my downfall, basically. 200 watt, one panel. Yeah, one panel. One panel. It's foldable. It's not light, but it has a handle and you can carry it. So yeah, that would be for a camp. You can reach out anything you want with 200 watts. I mean, it's awesome. Even for a G90, you can operate G90, charge the batteries. A little bit of sun, and it doesn't take that long to charge. If you're outputting like I don't know, like 10 amps, in no time you'll have your battery charged. All right, so so sources of generating electricity, and that could be a vehicle also with an alternator. Of course, you're going to need gas. I'm not a big fan of generators, gas-powered generators, because you run out of gas and gas goes bad. After a year, a little bit more than a year, gasoline starts to degrades a lot. So you would be hard pressed to find good gas after a while. There are additives you can add to the fuel to make it last longer, but how much longer I'm not sure. But I would not really and generators, they generate carbon monoxide, and they're loud. So I mean, you can get a small one maybe, but solar panel would be better. Of course, if you can make any contraption like a bicycle with an alternator, if a stationary bicycle with an alternator or something like that, or a big hand crank like they had in Vietnam, for instance, the ones you go like this, that would be good. But that's always going to require physical force. Wind power is good because, of course, you just need a bit of wind. So that would be a great option. Hydraulic generation would be good also if you have a stream that's running near your house. Even if you have to leave a battery here for you have to walk there, you put the battery down and just go back the next day, and you just hide it really well. But you have to think about recharging your batteries, and of course, the smallest the battery, the better, because it's going to charge faster. Also, the smaller the battery, you can use it with, you can carry it because it's light, and you can use it with low current draw radios, and especially like CW, tiny QRP radios. That's why I love them so much, because I can fit one in my shirt pocket, draws like no current. I mean, practically as much as sometimes a couple of LEDs, and it's a radio that has a potentially thousands of miles of range. All right, happy birthday from Mink Tsei. Hope I said that right. Daniel M7BCE, thank you very much. F5MOX, Gérard, Gérard that I've talked to on the air before, if I remember well. Merci beaucoup. J'espère te contacter depuis Antibes. J'ai des dates de tes animations des mois de mars et avril. Yeah, I have to mention that, guys. Merci, je vais le mentionner. I'm going to be doing a BOTA, so not birthday on the air, that's today, but beaches on the air. And I'm going to be at the beach on the 4th, that's next Saturday, activating the beach with my friends. I'm not going to do the administrative stuff because I hate that stuff. That's why I haven't done it. I haven't participated in any planned event like that before, so that will be the first time. And I will be activating the beach in Antibes on the 4th. That's next Saturday, all day. French time, of course. On CW, I don't remember all the frequencies, but I know one frequency that probably the one I'm going to be using the most is 10, 1, 2, 3, 30 meters, 10, 1, 2, 3 CW. And I know there's a frequency on 17 meters, and I don't remember where else. I'll post them on the when I'll make an announcement about it, probably on the Facebook group and on the what is the thing I just started there? Oh yeah, it's now we have a group on Keybase, so check Keybase for radio preppers or radio prepper. So I'm going to be announcing it there. And happy birthday from WK7L, thank you very much, merci. Leonas, merci beaucoup. LY0NAS, I say Leonas, but it's not Leonas. It's a call sign, merci. Yeah, so the 4th and maybe some subsequent Saturdays after that. Also, there will be a special call sign for that. So you can put something original in your logbook, you're right. And yeah, stay tuned for next Saturday, all day at the beach. All right, so electricity production I mentioned. So to be prepared for what's hopefully not coming, and EMP protection and making an RF map of your surroundings. Also, prepping wise, make sure you have you know what to do. You have your pew-pews, right? You have your food, your water filter. You have medical medications, first aid kit, and communications, of course, the radio. That's very important. People often forget to include that in their preps. Or they just buy a radio, they put it in a closet, and they think they're going to use it once it happens. But of course, that's not going to work. There is a learning curve. It's not that difficult, but it's there. So you have to make sure you tell people that, hey, you want to communicate, you have to learn to communicate. It's like you can't buy a guitar and and start a band the next day. You're not going to be the Jimi Hendrix because you buy a guitar, right? In radio, it's maybe not as difficult, but it's you have to learn certain things, and especially to communicate at different ranges. That's the hard part people don't understand, is that what's the range, and it's often a question that comes up for beginners, what's the range of that radio, how far can you talk, and blah blah blah. And when I tell them, for instance, they ask me, what's the range of that walkie-talkie you're using, and I'm like, anywhere from 500 meters to 300 kilometers. And they're like, what? How's that possible? You mean you can talk down the block and a few blocks and then you can talk 300 kilometers, 200 miles away? Yeah, it depends. Depends on your altitude, your antenna, the frequency, time of day, propagation. You have to know what you're doing, and that's the thing. How do you extend your range? Well, you have to learn to do it, and it's just many ways to do that. Bacon Whiskey 73, and thanks again for the donation, very much appreciated. Coffee donation down below for my birthday. And crypto links, and always there is Patreon, of course. Patreon subscribers are really my lifeline, because I don't know how I would do it without them, and it keeps the channel alive basically, and allows me to buy gear to do more basically. So, and you could also buy a mug. Link down below as well. We have t-shirts, hats, all kind of stuff. All right, so what else for prepping? You have to think about breathable air also, especially with the threat of what hopefully is not coming once again. The air could be contaminated, so think about a gas mask and filters. Of course, gas masks are prohibited in France. Believe it or not, it's illegal to have a gas mask. Nobody really cares, but it's That's one charge they can put on top of you. See if you get into something else. But for most other countries, you can get a gas mask, so do it. Radiation detector, of course. I have an old. Oh, it's not. It's in my metal chest here, so I'm not going to take it out. But I have. Is it called an RL70 or something like that? It's Polish. It's an old bakelite detector. It's like a brick basically, but it works, and it's cheap. But so that's another precaution to take. And I'm not going to get into all the fallout preparations that you can do, but it's a lot to understand and learn. Also, it's something you might want to know and check it out and check out videos on YouTube. And you never know, guys. You never know. It's not something that I thought was possible just a couple of years ago, but now hopefully it's not likely. But it's not. The risk is not zero. Let's put it like this. So I'm thinking about that. I'm preparing a bit. I have a long list of stuff, and my list is probably 80% full already, and I have maybe like 20% of items left to get, and that's what I'm working on right now. And it's important to get what you need, and once you have what you need, you just box it up, or put it in a bug out bag and have everything ready, and then you're good to go. You don't have to spend any more money on it, except maybe for food and water. But once you have what you need, you kind of rotate stocks. That's what I'm doing right now, but not by choice, because I'm broke. But I also started to, before I would put like $20 of gasoline of diesel in my truck. And drive until it was empty, and then refill it in another $20, right? But it's not the right way to do it. What I'm doing now is that I got a full tank of gas. Then I drive like 150 miles or so, and then I refill it back to the top. So that way my tank is always like 3/4 full at the minimum. And that's one other precaution that you have to take. And same for everything, All right, so as far as radios, what are my choices for bugging in and possibly bugging out? Of course, I have the G90 right here. I have my military radios, PRC 320, but that's to bug in. That's to stay home. It's too heavy to take anywhere except in a vehicle. But and I probably would throw the radio in my truck if I was leaving with a truck, but leaving with a vehicle is probably not an option if everyone else is doing the same. You would have to basically do it ahead of time. Basically, at the first signs of trouble, you should have already have stuff in your truck already or the trunk of your car. Stuff that you would leave in there permanently, like water, a little bit of food, and probably a first aid kit and stuff like that you can leave in your trunk legally, without any trouble. So that if you have to evacuate, you don't have so much stuff to transfer, because while you're doing that, people are going to be jumping in the car and clogging the roads. So you don't want that. And basically also if there is an alert, World War III, global nuclear conflict, and there is an alert, that's not the time to evacuate, because you're not going to be far enough probably once it goes off, if you live in a big city or near target, and then the fallout will get you. So what you want is to bunker in and put the most material possible between you and the outside, and wait it out at least 48 hours before you head out. And even then, I wouldn't head out without protection. If you wait a couple of weeks, then you're much better off. But it's the exposure is never going to be zero. So anyway, bugging out is really the last option I would want. But I live in a city, so I know I would have to bug out at some point, probably. But I would first hunker down probably and let things pass. And I don't know. If I had some inkling, a quite some time ago that it would be time to go. I might decide to go, but it's not the best option. It's a little bit like sailing, guys. People who sail the oceans of the world, a lot of people died because they got the boat got a hole in it, or it's sticking in the water, and they decide to throw out. They use their life rafts, throw the life raft in the water, inflate it, jump in the life raft, and then they drift off, and they die. They die because they get into a storm and the thing is punctured or whatever happens, and they die. And most of the time, guys, they find the boats still floating with nobody on them because they jumped into the life raft too soon. Same goes for bugging out. You don't want to, if you can avoid it, you avoid it. What about half-life? Asks Irish Foyen. Yes, well, the more you wait, the more the level of radiation goes down, and it would significantly go down after a few days. Not zero, remember. So there's a lot to learn about that. Also, there is also the square. What is it? The square root rule or something. The more distance you have between you and the radiation, the fastest it drops. So you have to think about that. If you have to bunker in your house, you'd have to do it in the center of your house, not near the roof, because that's where the stuff is going to collect, on the roof, and not near the outside walls, basically. But I'm not going to get into too much detail, but there's a lot to learn about that. So watch YouTube videos about the subject and take everything with a grain of salt. There's also a great book that was published by the government, and I forgot I have it on my hold on, if I can find it. I have it on my Kindle, and it's probably going to take too long for me to find it, but who knows. Nuclear War Survival Skills, it's called, and it's, let's see, I'm going to get the cover here. It's by Crescent H. Kearney, published in 1979, updated in 1987 and 2001. So yeah, that's a great book, guys. Nuclear War Survival Skills. I'm going to show you the cover here. That's the book, okay? You can see it's got five stars. You can learn a lot from that book, and it's really cheap. So it's excellent. I mean, it's really good. I'm not sure if it was an official publication, but I know the guy worked for some kind of lab. I forgot the name, but let's see. Does it say here? Of course, I can't see it, but anyway. So that's a great book to check out. And again, make sure that your radios are protected against EMPs. So put stuff in metal cans. Well, first you insulate them from the can, then you put them inside the can. And make sure there's no leaks, no way for the EMP, the electric field or magnetic field to get in. Alright, so radio-wise, you have to think about antennas as well. Here I have my magnetic loop antenna. Probably if I knew something was coming, I would take that antenna from the outside and get it on the inside, because I wouldn't want to go outside to tune it, because that means exposing myself to dust and stuff like that, and that would be really bad. Also, you don't want the antenna to get irradiated itself either. So anyway, yeah, there would be lots of stuff on it. So I would take that antenna and bring it inside, basically, and I would close the shutter and leave it closed, and that's it. You might want to have also plastic sheathing also because in case your windows gets blown out. and shutters get blown in. I mean blown in rather than out. But you want to think about stuff like that too. Anything to insulate yourself from the outside. All right, so those are the precautions. I can't think really of anything more right now, but please, if you do, put in the comments, and I'm going to check the chat right now. And let's see. Oh, it's done 3:42 in the morning over there. Yeah, all right, well, have a good night. All right, so Eclipse Serve, thank you very much. Pietro, thank you. Macon Board, thank you very much. Three Pistols, that's a cool name. And Macon Board gives me a coffee donation. Thank you very much for your birthday gift. Yeah, guys, birthday gifts, coffee donation here. Also, of course, there is always Patreon if you want to be a long-term channel supporter, and the cryptocurrency donations here that I highly recommend to use, that you get into also. So thank you very much, and it really helps. I'll tell you guys, it really helps because anyway, I'm not going to get into lots of personal stuff here, but it really helps. All right, so happy birthday from Alexander Helling. Thank you very much. I think I've covered a lot here for the stuff you have to be ready for. Now people will ask me. Well, I was talking about antennas also, but people will also ask me about radios. But first, antennas. So the magnetic loop antenna is a great antenna for indoor, because it's not too much affected by its height, and it's not affected too much by what's around it. You know, I used to have when I used to live in Florida, I had pretty much the same antenna, and it was inside my bedroom. Of course, the house was made of wood, so I don't think it had a lot of effect of attenuating effect on the performance, you know, on the antenna. But here it's, I mean, a building, a solid building, you know, it's made of blocks, concrete blocks. So of course that's a limitation, but I think that with the G90 and 20 watts, I would have no trouble making contact with the antenna inside. Maybe I should try that someday to just show it. But also you could use a random wire with a 9-to-1 Unun, that would work as well, or, you know, a quarter wave. Of course, in a room like this, I have like, I don't know, it's maybe 3 meter high, so you know, maybe it's a 10-foot ceiling, I'm not sure. And I'm limited to as to what kind of antennas I can use. I could probably run a wire around the wall here, around the whole perimeter of the apartment, and make a loop. So you would have a wire that's a loop basically, and it goes all around the apartment, and it comes together to 2 points. And then you use a like a 4-to-1 balun for that. And then you go into a tuner and to the radio, and maybe I should try that too. So that's, you know, I'm coming up with new subjects for videos here. That's cool. And I could use that as a loop, a random loop antenna, and that probably would work fairly well. Although I have like a couple more floors above me, two or three floors. At least I have a couple more floors above me, so you know, it wouldn't be the best. And radiation on the side would be. I don't know, it wouldn't be too much, but at least that would be a way to have an antenna on the inside. VHF, UHF, that's not a problem. Or of course I would want to probably put the antenna close to the window, to the outside, but I don't want to be close to the outside because of radiation. So I would run a cable, and I probably would live and sleep in my bathroom, you know, because that's another wall in between, and you know, just more distance and more protection. I would no doubt sleep in my bathroom if I had to. Or even, you know, if it really got bad, I could, if like my whole window here is destroyed and I have no way to close it, everything. I probably should buy some plastic really to put up, but I would in that case probably go down to the parking garage you know. It's not really underground, it's partially underground, well, kinda, but it's thick concrete, so that would be excellent protection. And I might actually do that. And for that, I might actually buy. I'm planning on buying a little hand cart, so that I can hand cart my chest, my metal chest, and with my gear down to the parking garage. And you have to think about that, you know. My back hurts. I have a bad back. I can carry a lot of weight, so I would need a hand cart for that. You have to think about stuff like that because it's not. It's when the time comes, you have to think about everything that you would have to do, and do you have stuff to help you out along the way. All right, so Jean-Marie F4, F4 JCF, merci beaucoup. Booms Line Boy, thank you very much. So there is that, antennas. Think about antennas in a context of staying home or bugging out. Bugging out's not a problem because I can use the antennas that I use all the time for that. And that wouldn't be a problem. I already have them. They're ready to go. They're usually packed with the radios, so I'm all set right there. Now the radios. All right, guys, so differences in radios between bugging in and bugging out once again. You have to assume that you're not going to have power, okay? So you want a radio that doesn't draw too much current, that you can recharge the batteries, and you must have batteries, remember. Don't forget you must have batteries. And you have to protect those batteries because those batteries are most likely going to have battery management systems, and those are susceptible to EMPs. Your radios are susceptible to EMPs. Everything that has a junction in it is susceptible to EMPs. That includes everything that has, LEDs or, even solar panels because they have a diode inside, and charge controllers. Anything really that you use that is electronic, basically, would be at risk. Newer cars also have computers, so your SOL right there. You would have to protect all those electronics. Not all my radios are protected at all times, but at least probably half of them are in metal chests. So indoor loop sounds interesting. Bacon whiskey, yeah. The one I was using before, it worked really, really good. Really good, and of course, again, the house was made of wood, so it was in Florida. But I'm sure it would, between here and the terrace here, it's only a few meters to get it inside, and I'm not sure. That probably would be I would lose probably a little bit of performance, but not that much. And you know what? I haven't been on the radio yet, but the G90 is still on there. The volume is off. We'll get to that. All right, so thank you very much from Shooters Ready Standby. I like Shooters Ready Standby. I heard that so many times. I used to do IPSC. I was a competitor in IPSC before, so yeah. Not anymore because it's frowned upon now. Times have changed. Even the targets have changed here in France. Now it's a rectangle. The IPSC. IPSC targets in France now are rectangles, not the old kind. You guess why, Anyway, and thank you very much. Yeah, awesome from Dimitri. Coffee donation here for my birthday. Thank you, guys. Patreon also, of course, and the crypto links down below you can use. Crypto addresses. IDPEA. Okay, excellent. Cool. Awesome. And someone else gave me a coffee. Well, that's going to be a good birthday, guys. You're the only people who gave me a birthday gift. So, yeah. Isn't that sad, right? I had birthday wishes, but you're the only people who sent me birthday gifts today, so that's excellent. I might buy myself I don't know, I'm probably going to get myself a pocket knife, as a gift. Something for prepping also, kind of. Anyway. All right, so thank you for sharing the knowledge. Your tests in the wild are very informative. Thank you very much. I don't do it enough. I don't I always feel like I don't do it enough. I don't do enough field operations, and I don't go far enough with that. And then this year I'm going to try to do a little bit more of field operations, and not always in the same spot with my friends, but solo. Or if someone comes with me, of course, no problem. But I'll try to do more like scenic outings, basically. SP9 KMS, yeah, thank you. Okay, oh yeah, okay. Radio, oh yeah, the radios. Well, this radio again is the G90. Excellent radio for prepping. That would be a bug-in radio, not a bug-out radio, although it could be a bug-out in using a vehicle radio. It's a transportable radio. It's between base station and portable, transportable. That's why I place it, something you wouldn't mind to take with you if you have a way to carry it. Someone else to carry it, maybe, who knows? Strap it to your dog or your goat. You know who you are. So yeah. Oh, and Michael Jugnon. F4GBW. We met at the radio club. Cool, excellent. Merci beaucoup. I don't go to the radio club very often. Once in a great... I think there was one meeting. Well, I missed it. It was Thursday. Well, but yeah. Anyways, radio clubs are good to get to know people. It's probably not always friendly to beginners. They're not always friendly to beginners. You have to know that. But good to getting to know people and finding some really interesting knowledge. All right. So who else is there? Are you transmitting today? I was planning on to. I haven't yet. I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna turn that on. Oh, I'm gonna talk about radios a little more before we start the trying to transmit on 40 meters here. I'm gonna be around 7150, but not sure. Between 7130 and 7170. Oh darn! I should have used the end of the band because of the general requirement in the US. I forgot about that. Well, all right. But anyways, I think it's gonna be mostly Europe anyway. 140 meters tonight. So the radios, like something like the G90 here would be a great base radio because it's 20 watts. It's not a low current consumption radio, but it's not too high that I wouldn't use it. So that would be fine. It has a great tuner, and it's all modes, all bands on HF. So that for me is an excellent choice for a bug-in radio, and I probably wouldn't. I can't think of anything else to use for a bug-in radio. Oh, and Radioactive gave me a super chat. Thank you very much. $10 here. Yep, he's right there. You can use the coffee donation links too. Thank you very much. Awesome. Birthday gift here. Excellent. And yeah, so the G90, excellent bug-in radio. So anything that's similar to that, even the PRC 320 that I use, the military radio, would be an excellent bug-in radio. The cool thing about the G90 is that you have the waterfall. So if there is a signal that you don't necessarily hear, you can see it on the waterfall. That's good. And I can use it for digital modes. And if my computer is still working, that would be good. Digital modes, JS8 would be excellent. So that's what I would do if I was bugged in. I also have a J-pole on the terrace here. I probably would also take the J-pole and bring it inside, so that I wouldn't have to. Although I don't have to go outside to tune the J-pole. So yeah, I guess I could leave if I use like a RG316, a very thin coax, I can put it in the door and close the door on the cable. It gets a little kink on it. So basically, if you don't do it too often, that works. And so I would probably use my J-pole outside, bring my magnetic loop inside, and use it like that. And once again, for the portable antennas, well, it's portable, so I already have them, half wave and fed, and I'm done with that, and that's it. That's what I would use. On 6 meters, I'll probably, well, I don't know if I'd use 6 meters. I love 6 meters, but I know there wouldn't be nobody on 6 meters. But if I had a group, let's say I wanted to put someone standing guard at the entrance of the of the of the place here. I could hand them a PRC 351, for instance, and I could use one here inside, and I know I could even use my my delta loop. I love the delta loop for 6 meters. All right, so should already stand by. Club near me was not friendly to beginners. I know, right? It's often the case, but what can you do? Wasn't part of their group. I've had much better luck with online clubs. Yeah, probably. And Alex OE3SAF gave me a coffee donation. Thank you very much. Here, right there, coffee donation link for birthday gift, guys. Thank you. Patreon, of course, and there are crypto addresses down below. And Sky Surfer Boy, happy birthday. Thank you very much. All right, so where was I? Oh yeah, we talked about the clubs a little bit. That's too bad, guys, the clubs. Those guys, I remember I was at a reunion, I was at a club meeting once. And those guys are very technical. In France, people are very, the ham operators in France are very, very technical. And they were talking about a lot of stuff that were pretty high up there. And there was a guy here. There was a new guy there. I'm pretty much one of the rare people who talked to him, actually. And he was from India. Akash is his name, and he has a doctorate in fluid mechanics. So not a dummy by any stretch, right? I couldn't do that. So anyway, and so a very interesting person to talk to. Nobody talked to him, and a few people talked to him, and didn't try to get him enrolled in the club. You would want someone like that. You would want something like that with the brains, but I don't know. It's just a bunch of old guys, and they're not friendly, and that's all there is to it, and that's often the case, unfortunately. Nothing I can do about it, but hey, I'm always very welcoming of beginners, even people coming from CB and stuff like that. I think it's great, and anyway, it's not always the case. Even online, sometimes you see a lot of bashing online. But anyway, I divert. All right, so the radios. So that's for the bugging in radios. Xiegu G90. Go to Radiodity. It says a shop for radios on the link down below. Radiodity. They have very good prices on the G90. And tell them I sent you. Right? Don't forget. All right. So yeah, use the link down below. And then you have your regular radios like the 7300 or the Yesus or the base station radios. Basically, I would not suggest counting on those for a bug-in radio because they draw a lot of current. Yeah, they're great radios, but they draw a lot of current, and unless you have a means to generate a lot of current, and I mean a lot, you would have problems. You couldn't listen a lot, because you couldn't be on the air very often because you're just not going to be able to have enough charge, electricity to power the radio. So you have to think about current draw, and I always insist about that. And I know I'm a stinker about it, but in my opinion, it's important to have the capability to recharge your batteries. Otherwise, you have a boat anchor, and that's it. So think about that for bugging in radio. For bug out radios, the one that I tested recently again is the USDX by DL2MAN, and I forgot the name of the other guy, but someone might post it. And Bash Showman 99. Good luck with Doomsday. See ya. It's not a comfortable subject. I know that. All right. So, Antoine Sabatini, thank you very much. Decreasing mass. Thank you very much. I wish I had decreasing mass, but I need to start exercising again. All right. So anyway, the bug-in radios. So you have to think about current draw and the means to produce electricity, and it's your biggest concern, basically. You don't need a whole lot of power. Especially during SHTF, if the electricity is down, the noise level is going to go down as well, right? So you don't need that much power. 20 watts, like the G90, is plenty enough of electricity, of power, to get out anywhere. As I said, I tried to unwhisper, and it would have worked as well on GS8. I was able to, I was heard with my magnetic loop on the terrace here, I was heard in New Zealand and Australia. So on 2 different days, once on New Zealand on 40 meters and Australia on 20 meters on 2 different days. So it's possible, you know. Xander Marx, welcome back. Bonjour Gilles, happy birthday from TH3 Netherlands, PD1XAN. Always there for the live streams. Thank you very much. All right, so that's for bugging in. Bugging out again, the true, well, the USDX or TR, parentheses TR, close, and USDX from DL2MAN. Once again, I forgot the other guy. Go to dl2man.com and see who the approved sellers are. I use one on AliExpress. It was like 120 euros, something like that, for the kit. You know, you can get one that's already built, and I was surprised because I thought, well, it's just a hack. It's not going to work, or it's not going to be a good radio. It is an excellent radio. It's based on the QCX Mini, and it has 2 boards, and it has I think it's 5 bands. I think 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, I believe. So you get all the bands you want for prepping. You know, anything above 20 meters, I don't really consider that for long distance. But you know, CB for local, definitely. And you know, 10 meters maybe for local stuff. Or, I mean, 10 meters can go pretty far, but it's not reliable. It's not going to be open all the time. Anything 20 meters or 14 megahertz and below, you're going to have much better results for long distance communications. All right, so happy birthday from Nicolas Hayard. Oh, hey, bonjour mon ami. We always chat on Facebook. Excellent. He's in Belgium over there. Ouais. Bienvenue sur la chaîne. Ontario CB Club. Excellent. Yeah. CB is great, guys, because a lot of people have CBs. So, you know, it's always, I always would suggest people to get a CB also, or, you know, a radio that can transmit on CB frequencies. Although it's not legal to do that with a ham radio, but if you have the capability and you have to, well, you can. So not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I might try to unlock my G90. Actually, I found some videos. You have a diode in there somewhere on the top here, and you have to get that off. And but I don't know if it still works on the latest firmwares. But if someone knows, let me know. All right. So the USDX approved model from DL2MAN, excellent radio. Size of a pack of cigarettes, guys. And actually, is it here? Do I have it here? Close enough. No, it's in my metal chest because it's in EMP protection right now. I would have to open the chest and take everything off of it, and it's a big. I have so much stuff here in this apartment. You know, it's 250 square feet, and I don't know where to put my stuff anymore. I'm gonna have to get a storage something. All right. So anyway. So something to consider, the USDX. Also, you know, the classics like the FT 817, Yaesu FT 817, 817 ND, and 818, no longer produced, but there are so many used ones that you would have no problem finding one. So that's for portable. I would also suggest probably to have a small QRP CW radio for Morse code. Learn Morse code, that's important. Even if you just barely know it, you know, you don't have to be cruising at 40 watts per minute. I can't. I can do 20, but I don't think more is really needed. But learn Morse code. Learn Morse code. Start now. Start today. Get an app for your phone and learn Morse code, and get a tiny like the QCX Mini or an MTR, Weber MTR or something like that, get two of them. Get a USDX and get QCX Mini, and you're good. Because you never know, and CW is more efficient. You know, if you have 5 watts, like with the USDX, my back hurts. If you have 5 watts, like for the USDX, in SSB, yeah, you're gonna make contacts, but it's gonna be hard. If you have CW, Morse code, you're gonna have no problem making contacts with 5 watts. No problem. Even with 2 or 3 watts, you have no problem because it's much more efficient. 5 watts CW is equivalent to 100 watts USB. So keep that in mind. You know, especially if you have an antenna that you had to bring inside. But anyway, we're on the bugging out thing now. So did I get another donation? I don't. Maybe. All right. So anyway, for bugging out, I would get, you know, if you can get a radio with SSB like the USDX, so much the better. Otherwise CW, but I would definitely try to have both, you know, and have a couple radios for your bug out bag, couple HF radios. As far as antennas go, I would have an unfed half wave with a tiny transformer, and I would probably get like a wire for 20 meters and a wire for 40 meters, you know, or 80. 80 meters is not very hard to do on, you know, with a portable station, and you only have to put your antenna like 8 feet from the ground on bushes and stuff, and string it horizontally, and it will work really. It works really, really well. See the link down below for the cups. Coffee's cold. I shouldn't be drinking coffee at 6:30 p.m. But all right, so that's for the antennas. Also, think about local communications. That means walkie-talkies, and that means something like, I don't know, the UV5R, or people are gonna cringe at that, but my choice is the VX7R, which is here. I have my EDC pouch here, guys, so that's what I carry everywhere I go. There is an IFAC in it, individual first aid kit, with all the medical first aid, you know, emergency stuff, like a tourniquet. I have a tourniquet in here. I have an Israeli bandage, and I have other stuff, other medical stuff. And I have my VX7R with a rat tail and an antenna, of course, it's in the bag. So VX7R, my favorite with the VX6. My VX6 is still in the mountains. I know approximately where it is. I'll have to go get it back. That's going to be an interesting expedition. Actually, I might film that. And I'll have to search. I know within 100 meters where it is approximately, but I've had some back problems, and of course I didn't have my truck, guys. Remember? For a couple of months, I didn't have my, actually more like, let's see, December. For 3 months, I didn't have my truck. So now that I got it back, I can think about going back there and searching for it again. VX6, VX7R. The VX7R is no longer made, but it's hard to find. I love it because it has 6 meter FM. And the VX6 is great too, VHF, UHF. It's probably the best piping radio, you know, handheld. Otherwise, I would go for a Retevis, you know. Retevis has some great stuff, or including DMR radios that give you encryption. Also, of course, it's illegal, but it's probably a good idea to have it in case. Doesn't mean you have to use it. You know, certainly not in normal times, but because that's illegal, remember. But it's good to have encryption. So DMR radio, VHF, you know, DMR, of course, DMR radios have analog as well. And so that would be a good thing. Like I have an MD390 from TYT, and a Retevis. I had the Retevis, I think it was the RT3S. I lost it in the mountains too. I always lose radios in the mountains. That's weird. I didn't that one. I didn't go back for it. It's too far. And what's the other one? The I forgot. Anyways, that would be those would be good choices. But you should also have a bunch of cheap radios that you program with FRS frequencies or stuff like that, Muse and stuff like that, and that you can hand out to people. People in your neighborhood. Organize like a neighborhood watch. Hand them radios, and they'll call you if something amiss is amiss, and that's you have to involve people around you to help out. You're not going to make it alone. And if you offer them something like a radio, hopefully they have food reserves, because you don't want to share that. But yeah, if you start it's never ending, and probably people will come to you and take it from you, and it's not going to be very healthy for you, probably, the way they're going to do that. So think about that. You have to still kind of maintain a little bit of secrecy, All right, so Josh Kershaw, channel, are you making knives? Enjoy your channel. Hope you make it back to the States one day. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. That would be awesome. I still want to go sailing before I go anywhere else. So if I lose my job here because of the economics, and I would go on a trip before I go anywhere else, and then who knows? I lost it, Wade. I lost it. It was so dumb. I was so stupid. I had it with me. I was winded because it's in the mountains. There's no trail, and I was climbing up and going up and down, and I sat down. I sat my ass down on a rock, put the radio on the ground, time to drink something, and then I'm like, okay, let's go. And I left, and I forgot about the radio. It's just that, but anyways, but because I was recovering a drone, I had the geographical longitude, latitude coordinates of the downed drone. I know I wasn't any more than 100 meters from that point, so I can find it, just kind of find it back. And nobody goes there, so I don't think anybody's going to find it, because it's not a place where people go hike or anything like that. There's no access really, so it's probably still there, and I'm going to have to go back. All right, so, but no, I wouldn't leave it on purpose. Do you find different radios require different CW plugs? What do you mean by plugs? I'm not quite sure what you mean by plugs. So what, the connectors? What for what exactly? If you well, usually QRP radios have the same connector for the power, and that's like a 5 millimeter or 5.1 millimeter, like the coaxial plugs there that are the power plugs, and so those are standard pretty much. Then you have, well, not always, but I think the True SDX has a smaller one, and the Weber MTR has a smaller one as well. But it's fairly standard. Also, usually the connector for the paddles are the same, and for the speaker, earphones are the same. And usually they use a BNC antenna connector, so usually it's fairly standard, not always. For instance, the G90 has an SO239 connector. It doesn't have a BNC. So I use an adapter because I use exclusively BNC connectors. So plug for the key or paddles. Yeah, usually the plug is the same. So it's a 3.5 millimeter jack. Usually it's the same, yeah. Now, if you use a straight key, sometimes the wiring can be a bit different, but usually for paddles, it's the same. What was wrong with your truck? I had an oil leak. It was leaking oil. and basically you could follow me. You could follow me. It wasn't even drops, it was like a fillet of oil, you know. Of course, as soon as I realized it happened, I came back home, left a fillet of oil in the parking, you know, just going back inside the parking garage, and I spent an hour cleaning up cleaning up my mess with a can of a brake cleaner and some rags, you know, and I had it fixed. It cost me €1,000, and I've been eating from cans for a week. But I'm mobile now, so yeah, it's fixed, and I still have to fix some problems with the front end, which I'm going to do in July, because I have to wait. I have to save up. And after that, the truck should be 100%, you know. But it went through the technical control here. That's like a big racket, and it passed on the second try. So at least I'm legal. Anyway, all right. So we were talking about antennas. Yeah, 80 meters and 40 meters are long antennas, but you don't have to put them very high for NVIS. So NVIS is when you, on lower frequencies below 10 megahertz, 7 meters, 40 meters, 60 meters, 80 meters, horizontal antenna, you don't, you know, 7-8 foot from the ground, you send your signal straight up and it just rains back down, basically, in a regional coverage. And for the radios, otherwise, I would try to have something, like I said, with SSB, and something with CW, QRP, and a good walkie-talkie, you know, handheld for yourself, and a bunch of handhelds like you're gonna hand around for people that would become part of your group. Hopefully you'd have a group beforehand, but if you don't, you'd have to form one after the event, and you'd have to hand radios to people. And remember, you need ways to charge those radios, at least, you know, 4 or 5 that you're gonna have to charge if you want people to look out for you, and then you look out for them. But you'd have to think about that. The radios you're gonna hand out, that's an important part, and for that you're gonna need something cheap, because you need to buy 4 or 5 or 6, you know. So I would definitely suggest getting like like Retevis. Yeah, Retevis would be my first choice for the cheap ones, or Bofeng, you know, or something like that, or TYT. And those are good. Go to Radiodity, the Radiodity website, on the shop radios, link down below. They have a lot of handhelds. They seem to be a little bit specialized in handheld radios, so, and they have their own models, good stuff too. So think about that. Bon anniversaire from HB9 VAA. Anarchy Television, interesting name. All right, so now I'm going to turn on the, what time is it? 6:33. We still have half an hour. Usually I do 2 hours of live stream, no more, because after that people start to fall asleep, and I get tired and my back hurts. So let's turn it on. 7150 and around. So once again, having the waterfall is a plus, really, to find stations. If you didn't have many signals, you could find one easily like that. Let me know if the sounds are right for the radio. I can't go too low. I can go between 130 and 170, basically. Sorry about the general licensees. I forgot about that. There's a Frenchman. I don't hear the other station. And he speaks fairly well English, that's rare. Okay, bon anniversaire from R something D something. Thank you. I'm just a man, 5x5. Okay, good. Right, so anyway, you probably don't speak French, so some do. Okay, I go a little too far here. I can't tune very far with the magnetic loop. Ah. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Not sure if you might have heard me a bit. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. I'm not putting the 20 watts I can see here on the watt meter, so, but it does. You didn't hear me. Italy is not very far, but it would be NVIS from here, and it's not always easy. It's probably easier for me to make a longer contact. If any of you guys are on the air, you can give me a frequency between 7130 and 7170, and I'll try to call you, or you can try to call me. Manu Outdoor, call for DX. Oh, yeah, well. Manu Outdoor, 40 meters between 7130 and 7170. I'm going to type that down here. Oh, my Mac Mini is slow, but it's mining, so between 7130 and 7170. All right, so that's where I am. You can 7130, 7170. Yep, you can give me frequencies there if you want. I'm gonna change my contest. It's calling for contest. I could pretend to be in the contest, but I'm gonna get some flack for that. Oh, that's the same guy, the Italian from earlier. The G90 has pretty good sound, you know. It's not ICOM, but for a small radio like that, the speaker is pretty darn good. Yeah, it's pretty busy, Manu. There was a signal there. I'm going to wait a bit. I think it's a contest call also. If you have questions, guys, it's time to ask them in the chat. So anything about radio, prepping, anything else? My birthday, whatever. You know, just having this conversation here, live stream, is just a way for me to not be alone on my birthday. That's it, you know. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not, just so you know. $160, $163. I think that's French. Yep. Happy birthday from K2EXC. Thank you. F4 Whiskey, Bravo Yankee. F4 Whiskey, Bravo Yankee. Merci beaucoup, vous êtes 58 ici à Antibes. Je suis en train de faire un live stream sur YouTube. Merci beaucoup. Pour information, j'utilise un G90 20 watts sur une loupe magnétique. À vous.
Ok, ça marche bien. Vous m'avez confirmé, j'ai entendu Antibes. Vous me confirmez 06, c'est ça?
Absolument, oui, 06 à Antibes. 06 à Antibes. Vous êtes 58. Super, merci beaucoup et bon dimanche et à la prochaine de F4 Whisky Bravo Yankee. Bonne soirée. I'm going to write that down. F5. Alright, so F5 Alpha Sierra Oscar. Cool. Time is 5:45 Zulu. So 17:45 Zulu. Gave him a 5.8. I got a 5.9, but I'm sure it wasn't 5.9. I wish people wouldn't do that, give 5.9s all the time, but I mean, who knows? Maybe I was 5.9. And that was on 7167. So the magnetic loop works, guys, and of course I knew that. Interesting question from Xander Marx here. When did you start in ham radio and when did you do your first CW QSO? That's gonna be interesting. My first QSO ever was in CW. Well, I started with CB. You know, I started with CB when I was 14 years old in the 80s in France. I had a Lafayette LM300 and then I had a President Jackson. So I did CB for a few years when it was all the rage back then. Then I kind of forgot about radio. Well, I didn't kind of forget about radio, but I stopped using it. Partially because I started riding motorcycles, and of course having a radio on your motorcycle is not that easy, especially that I was riding sport bikes. So I kind of didn't do any radio for quite some time. And then I found myself in Florida, and I think it was I started thinking about it in 2011. And I really, I kind of looked online and I was thinking, I had bought a technician book a few years prior in Florida, but I never did it. And at some point, it was kind of bothering me that I bought a book and I, I didn't do it. And I started looking into QRP radios, and it was also for kind of prepping purposes. And I was adamant about using Morse code because I found it was very efficient, and it was the kind of the essence of radio basically. And it was very the radios were very small, portable. You could use a QRP radio and make unbelievable contacts with just a few watts and a wire antenna. So I wanted to do that. So I bought myself a kit. It was a DC20B from Steve Weber. I didn't have a license at that time, remember. I built the kit, it worked, and I started listening. And it was very interesting to me that I could listen to people doing Morse code. And I remember listening to a guy on a sailboat saying that he was retired now and on a sailboat, and he was doing Morse code on the sailboat. I was using I had a little iPad, and I was using a decoder on the iPad. I didn't know Morse code, and at that point I was hooked. And I'm like, okay, I need a better radio. So I bought an Elecraft K1, spent like $400, built the kit, and it worked. And I did electronics in school, by the way. I did 2 years of electronics in school. So, and I was electronics was my hobby from like 14 years old to to now, I guess. But I don't really build stuff anymore other than radios. But I built that K1. It was a 4-band K1, which stupidly I sold. Actually, I'm on my third K1 now, so I have one now that I also built, and I had one in between that I had bought and lost it. Anyway, but I built that K1 that I spent $400 on, and I didn't know Morse code, and I didn't have a license. So that's how I started amateur radio. Of course, I didn't do any QSOs, but I was only listening, And I'm like, well, now that I spend the money, I need to get my license, right? Because otherwise it would be wasted. Well, half wasted because I could only listen. And I didn't know Morse code. So I started learning Morse code. And I bought the 3 books from the ARRL, technician book, the general book, and the extra book. I was very optimistic. And there's about 15 chapters per book, and they cover about the same subjects. So I started, I studied like that. On the first day, I read the first chapter from each book. On the second day, I read the second chapter from each book. And I did that for a couple of weeks, for 15 days. So basically, after 15 days, I had read the whole of the 3 books. And I was doing practice exams. It was hard. It was a lot of study. It's a lot of studying, And I went to the exam, and I passed the technician, no surprise, it was easy. Then I'm like, they asked me, do you want to try for general? I'm like, okay, yeah. And I knew I would pass general, and I passed general, no problem. And then they said, do you want to try for extra? And I'm like, well, I read the book. And I tried for extra, and I got extra. And I got my call sign, Alpha Kilo 4 Yankee Hotel. So yeah, that's how I started. And of course, as soon as I got my my call sign, I had a PAR and fed in the backyard on a tree. Fed into the house with a coax, of course, and I called, and I got France in CW, my first contact ever, with F5IN, F5 India November, which he's a very well-known DXer in France, and that's how I started ham radio. And then I got my first handheld was a Yaesu, I think it was FT, or well, anyway, it was a 270, so VHF only, very rugged, and that's how I started. And I was on the Verna repeater over there in Florida, and that's how the story started. All right, so let's see the chat. I'll turn the radio back on. Well, let's see if there are any questions. So anyway, Zander, that was your reply, and it's an interesting way, unusual way to start radio, I guess. But I'm sure I'm not the only one, and actually a lot of people start radio because of Morse code, and that's the reason I started radio, really amateur radio anyway, was because of Morse code specifically. All right. So can the true USDX do wideband receive duty as well? I think it does. Don't quote me on that. Check on the dl2man.com website, but I think it does. I think it does. I haven't tried, but I'm not positive, but check it out. Should already stand by all three in one sitting. Yeah. And well, I wasn't surprised about the technician in general, because those are very similar. There's just barely any more information for general, but the extra, I had my doubts, but I passed, and that was it. Did you keep your US license? You bet I did. I renewed it a few months ago. Yeah, absolutely. I still have it. Alpha Kilo for Yankee Hotel. Actually, it's the condition for me to have the French call sign. So if I didn't have my American license anymore, I'm not sure the French call sign I got would still be valid. I'm not sure. But my French call sign, F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee, is based on my American license. Yeah. Yesu FT 470? No, it was no, not 470, 270. Yeah. 270, I think it was. Absolutely. All right, let's see if we can make some contacts. Another one, actually, I made one, so hey, that's goal is achieved. Oh, I'm up to 170 here. I'm gonna go down a little bit. There are a lot of people on 40 meters now. You can see the let's see, do I have the view on the radio here better? Because I'm not sure. Let's see. No, I don't. All right, anyways, no, I don't have a view for that, but I don't have a bigger view for the radio, but you can see a lot of signals here on the waterfall. Contest, I'm not going to answer to that. Ah, it's another Frenchman. Let's go down a bit. Closer to 150, where I have a great SWR. On the 40 meter band, I use 5 tones on my FT 140-43 Torrid feed. And again, the loop has a 5 meter perimeter. Yeah, should already stand by. That's the light. Yeah, my call sign basically. I'm considered a foreign operator in France because I didn't get the French license. So every time you hear a F4 whiskey, well, at this time it's whiskey. It's someone who's from another country, basically. Although I have my nationality is French, but I never passed the European, French license. And I think you have to be extra to get it, actually, extra in the US to get the French call sign. Huh? There was someone there. Closer to the radio. I can go a little closer, but it won't focus. That's about as close as I can get. But it's not going to focus, but I guess if that's better, that's, Ah, that's a... Alright, so The signals are not super strong tonight. And that magnetic loop has excellent performance, so I know it's not the antenna. But hey, I made a contact, right? Even if it's a French contact. NVIS, no doubt. The advantage of the magnetic loop is that it radiates in the plane of the loop, but all around it. So you get DX, low angle radiation, and vertical radiation for NVIS as well. So you can do both with the loop. The only thing that the problem with the commercial magnetic loop antennas is that they're too short. There's some, it's, I don't know how long they are, but you have some like a meter 50, not even, but they're too close. They're too short. Mine is, again, the best length that I found is 5 meters perimeter, not diameter, perimeter, 5 meters perimeter exactly. And that my loop can cover from 15 meters at the minimum to 60 meters. The efficiency on 60 meters is close to zero. It's like 3 or 4%. But it's fairly good on 40 meters. And of course, excellent on the other bands. I'm going to go back up. We're not going to make it much longer, guys. So and I'm going to mention it one more time again. You have the coffee donation down below if you want to send me a little birthday gift. You have a Patreon, of course, if you want to subscribe. Or you can do it on Coffee too, on the Coffee link. And you have crypto addresses down below. I got into crypto also, cryptocurrencies also kind of for prepping. Of course, if the internet was down, I would, it'd be gone until it was back, if it's back. But at least it's not in a bank where it can disappear and you have nothing left. So it's kind of, cryptocurrencies are kind of between, security-wise, it's kind of between cash and the bank. But it's not as good as cash or precious metals, of course. But for me, it's just a way to put some money aside that I'm not going to be tempted to spend too easily. Do I have a video of my loop antenna? BG is asking. Yes, I do. I do have just search for radio prepper magnetic loop, and you're going to find it. I have a video on the construction of the antenna. It's basically made of copper tubes that I soldered together. It's pretty easy to make. And the only big expense is that you need a vacuum capacitor. Mine's from Russia, so maybe it's harder to find them now, but you can probably order a vacuum capacitor. I know there has to be some US sources, but probably Eastern Europe, You would probably spend like $250. $250 on the capacitor if you use a vacuum capacitor. If you use an air gap capacitor, it's cheaper, but it's very it's hard to tune because the slightest move on the knob and you're gonna just wide variations. You get wide variations of frequency. All right, so 32 people, cool. The last time I had a birthday party, a live party, I had 250 people, just about. But that was in Florida, and all my friends are in Florida, And a donation from SoCalham. Thank you very much for the birthday gift. Link down below, coffee donation. Patreon, subscribe on Patreon. Subscribe to the channel here too on YouTube. Remember, that doesn't cost you anything, and clicking the like button doesn't cost you anything either. So Patreon and the crypto links down below also. I mean the addresses. But thank you very much to SoCal here for a coffee donation. You can give more than one coffee, you know. Anyway, I mentioned this because not because I'm money greedy, because but it's just that it's costing me a lot to run this channel, and it's costing me more than I what I get from it. So it always helps to have a a few bucks here and there, if just to get some new gear to film, and antennas to test. And I'm planning on as soon as I get paid here at the end of the month, I'm planning on getting copper tubing to make a 6-meter J-pole. I've made a 2-meter J-pole that works awesomely well. So I have a pretty good idea about making a 6-meter J-pole that's going to use a military whip antenna on top of the copper tubing, and that's going to be pretty interesting. Of course, I have to go to the local Castorama, or that's like the equivalent of Home Depot for you Americans. Castorama or Lowe's. I'm gonna have to go to the Castorama or the Leroy Merlin, which is another store, and get some copper tubing and hardware and stuff. So it's costing that kind of stuff costs money, and of course, hopefully you're benefiting from this channel. I hope so. And it's kind of like going to the theater, you have to buy a ticket. All right, so let's see if I can find other people here. It got quieter all of a sudden. Oh, Alexander Max sent me a coffee as well. Thank you very much. Big supporter of the channel. It's kind of weird to be 56, because I don't feel 56. Well, especially, I do, my back hurts, but it's just so bizarre, to get older. It's just so weird. I can't explain it, It's just bizarre. Seven 170, so I can't really go any higher. Again, my apologies to the general licensees. I forgot that it's limited in the US. You have to go be above a certain frequency, I think. Gray line went away. Yeah, that's it. It's the time, The other times that I did live streams about the same time, 40 meter, craps out, and then later you get regional stations, but less of them anyway. Age is a state of mind. Yeah, but still my back hurts. That's not a state of mind. And my vision is worse, So far that's it, Knock on wood. No pun intended. Ah. Is that Italian? I don't know. Oh, I'm too far here from the my tuning frequency. Let's see. $145, $148. Ah, I see a signal over there. Just about around here somewhere. No. All right, so ask your last questions, guys, because we're not going to be much longer here. We just hit 2 hours, so we're going to close shop. Ask your questions. Anyway, I think we're not going to make any other contacts. Oh, 7145. Wade, okay, 145. Hold on a second. All right, I'm on 7145. I'm going to call CQ like suggested by Wade. CQ, 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 CQ. This is Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over. Can you hear me, Wade? CQ, there is a delay. CQ, 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 CQ. This is Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over. So there's a delay of about probably 30 seconds between what you see on YouTube and what I'm doing. Have you watched the videos that MM0OPX done on Torrents? No, but I will now that I know. I have never found them, but I'll check it out. Thanks. No copy in Ontario. Yeah, I would have doubted it, at this time of night on 40 meters. I don't know. Well, I mean, it could happen, but it probably would have been possible like half an hour ago. I don't know. I'm not sure. And also, the problem is that I'm transmitting mostly towards the, this side of the building. And that's the problem, because there's a building in the way, and the only direction that I'm transmitting kind of better is towards the window here, which is towards the northeast. So CQ, 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 CQ. This is Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over. All right, so. And Xander is going to be 50 in 5 months. Yeah, welcome to the club. It doesn't get better. Oh, and someone incognito sent me another coffee donation. So send your last birthday gifts to that coffee donation link there. You can also sign up for Patreon also. That would be very, very helpful. And if you have cryptocurrencies, send me a few bitcoins to to the address down below, or the other coins. Now, a few bitcoins, that would change my life, but ain't gonna happen, right? All right, so I think that's about it. Oh, you forgot your name, BG. Thank you very much for the coffee donation. Thank you very much. All right, so I'm going to close the radio, at least close the volume here, and we're going to call it a night. And thank you very much to all for making my birthday a better birthday than if I hadn't been on live stream. So I always appreciate it. It's like you're with me here, a little bit. It's a discussion. It's interactive, and I always like that. It's again, I don't know many people here in the region, so I probably should get out more. I haven't really been out since the last lockdowns, so I need to exercise and I need to move, and we all need to move, because we're all getting older, and it's a fact that most ham radio operators are older people, and we need to stay in shape for prepping purposes, to be ready, to have a better chance at surviving any event that could happen. So let's keep our fingers crossed that nothing bad happens, you know, but let's be ready anyway, just in case. All right, so I'll take last couple of questions and say your goodbyes. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. It really, it's really, it means something, guys. It does. All right, so Colin, so that's the guy for the toroids there. I'll check that out. Yeah, thank you. What do you say? MMZ or OPX. I'm gonna Google that up. I'm gonna check on YouTube here. YouTube.com. Well, no, that's not on my. I'm not on my personal account there, but I'll check it out here. I'm gonna write that down and check that out. Right. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget. M0OPX. All right, so that's written down here in my little notebook. And that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. So Wade, thank you very much, and have a very good night. You all have a very good night. Stay safe, prepare, be ready, and hopefully I won't have to try to find you all on the air if the internet disappears. My frequency of predilection, by the way, is 10123 CW. That's where I will be on 30 meters, but also I'll try to be, of course, on. I would also be on USB, you know, probably on 14300. That's another frequency I would be on if needed, 14300 USB. On 40 meters, of course, it's not a very wide band here, so but I would probably be on 40 meters as well. 30 meters because CW. And I would be, if my computer works, I would be on JS8, probably on 40 meters. So, all right, guys. Where's the best place to reach? Search for a PRC 320 Clansman. eBay. And also there was Steve, clansman-radio.co.uk, but I think he has taken down his website for the time being. So I would definitely say eBay would probably be your best bet. Prices have gone up, you know. I know there's also groups on Facebook, like military radio groups on Facebook and on groups.io also. So search for those groups, and that would be probably a good place to find a PRC 320. All right, so thank you very much, guys. Arnold Grubbs, thank you very much also. Yeah, I'll do another live stream. I don't know when, we'll see, you know. I'm not going to do them too often because people get tired of them. Then I have lots of videos to make, and hopefully I'll, now that I have my truck back, I'll do more field operations. All right, guys, you all have a good night. 73, and well, until next time, have a good one.